I'm no stranger to the pay-to-win system. I just cannot partake in them because I'm very broke at all times. But lately, a game has piqued my curiosity. A game that is currently receiving very mixed reviews in the gaming community. And all of the obvious drama aside, I wanted to boot up Diablo Immortal on my PC and give it a fair shake as a free-to-play player. Mobile gaming for me has always been a double-edged sword. Roughly a year ago, I developed an extremely toxic relationship with Rise of Kingdoms, a game so dominated by the wealthy, it reminded me of home. I built a nice-sized kingdom, trained up some troops, and was swiftly spanked by a whale so large he beat me straight out of the game. I put down my phone and explored other games. Until Diablo Immortal. When I found out there was a ready-to-play PC port from Blizzard for Diablo Immortal, I was in. And all for the low price of free. Now, we're speaking my language. But I know all too well the trap of the free-to-play game. Eventually, you will hit a wall so big that the only way to scale it is with your wallet. And if a game is good and the game is playable, then absolutely, let's give them some money. But in today's day and age, good games seem to be few and far between, so I tend to clutch my wallet tightly. So for the purposes of this video, we will not be talking about microtransactions whatsoever. Let's just focus on the gameplay. Let's do it. Also, subscribing is helpful.
Do it.
Now, I gotta get this out there right from the get-go. This game should and is intended to be played on a mobile device, but playing the PC version, you're really not sacrificing a ton except for some little stuff I'll mention in just a second. This is your typical roguelike game. Click and drag is how your character moves, all that good stuff. If you've played a Diablo game in the past or even Path of Exile, this is going to feel extremely familiar to you. Abilities are fired off 1 through 4 on your mouse or keyboard, and overall it's a bit more of the same, honestly, if we're telling the truth. I've played Diablo 3 in the past, and while I never finished the game, this was eerily reminiscent of that. Just a ported mobile game, basically. Now, overall, the adapted client on PC looks good. I don't have anything really bad to say about it. Once I ended up changing my frame rate and my graphics settings inside of the settings of the game, it actually felt kind of like a natural PC game. You can still kind of tell, it's hard to explain, but I chose to go with the Necromancer class just because, I like to think I'm an edgelord or something. This class lets me spawn in 2 skeletons that seem to just tank damage for me. We'll see where this goes in the future, but seems to be really all the purpose they uphold at this point. And immediately off the bat, this game just throws menus at you. Menus and more buttons within buttons, and this is always the problem I have with mobile games. Obviously, they want to sell me some shit. I know this. I'm not stupid. Maybe I am, but hear me out. So we've got Battle Pass, and we have these skill upgrades, and we have the equipment menu, and then there's like a daily event thing that I can do, and then there's a shop, obviously, and within that shop I can do more stuff. And like all of these menus they introduce to you very quickly, and there's always little red icons everywhere, and it's just distracting. I don't know where to go for half of this stuff just because there's an overabundant amount of it. I don't know if that's a problem for anybody else, but I just had to get that off my chest. The game continues on by making you grind through quests, which is traditional in this kind of game. I have nothing bad to say about it. I'm more of a spacebar warrior anyway, so I power my way through those without reading any of the chat dialogue or paying attention to anything but the really good cutscenes, the ones they spent a lot of money on. At the end of the day, what I'm here to do is run rifts, kill mobs, make big number go up, and be dazzled by all of the sparkly bits on my screen. And the game feels really rewarding in that aspect. Every time you get a loot drop, it's just the same as Path of Exile and all the other Diablos they've made. All the little shiny bits on the ground and the constant drops from all of the mobs you're killing and the really sparkly level up features and pop-up notifications just make you feel good. They give you that nice endorphin hit, And I like that. Maybe I'm simplistic. Maybe I'm just easily drawn to the shiny bits. That's just what I like, okay? Slogging on through the main story quests, eventually you are introduced to the concept of gear. And I'm not gonna go ahead and give you any information about gear progression in this game because it's just too soon. I'm not qualified enough to do this. But essentially what happens is you pick up crappy gear throughout the game, you salvage it down, down and you use that salvage to improve better gear that you find in the future. It's kind of gear overload at the beginning of the game because all of the quests give you different pieces of gear and you're going to be switching your loadout about every 6 seconds, so just get used to that in the early game. It's just going to happen. What is nice though is upgrades to rare armor, which are really the only pieces of armor besides legendary that you can upgrade, will transfer onto different pieces, so there doesn't really seem to be any FOMO aspect to the gear progression in this game. If you sink resources into the piece of gear that you currently have and you get a better one, those seem to carry forward. So I think that's a really nice touch. Good job, Blizzard. And that is the only time in my life I'm ever going to say those words, okay? About an hour or so later, I am introduced to rifts, which we all know and love. The shiny piece of content in these games where all of your good gear is going to come from. Now, you can modify your rifts using rare and legendary crests, which I got bad news for you. You're probably going to have to buy with real life money, especially the legendary ones if you want those. So according to what I see, you get one rare crest per day on login. Alright, so that's a guaranteed one rift you can run per day. Seems cool. You're not going to get great gear with that. What you really want are the legendary crests. The only real way you can get those without going to the cash shop and paying for them is going to be using platinum, which is a currency you just get by playing the game. However, there are only so many available for purchase per server each day, which means that you are not guaranteed. Hell, you are probably never going to be able to buy these. The article that I'm reading, according to the screenshot that they had posted, there were 100 available on their server for that day. That is simply not enough. So if you are coming to this game in order to run rifts, good luck is all I have to say. For the record though, the rift was fun. I enjoy this kind of content. It was super rewarding, there was mobs everywhere, and the final boss battle was actually pretty fun. At the end of this video, I leave off at level 25. I absolutely intend to grind to the max level that I possibly can, or at least the point where free to play starts to become unfeasible, and I will let you know if you can clear this whole game as a pure free to play player. However, this game is built for microtransactions. You have to pay for everything. And I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it, but it's something to note. Because for a lot of people, that determines whether a game is worth playing or not. And in my opinion, yes, Diablo Immortal is absolutely worth playing, but you need to keep that in the back of your mind, that they are going to do everything possible to make you as uncomfortable as possible in order to get you to part with your real life coins. Tickle that like button down below. Let me know what you think about the game down in the comments. I will see you all later. I hope you're all having a great day. Goodbye.